Welcome back to the channel. And while the rugby's still fresh in our minds, I thought let's just go over again the South Africa versus Australia game. I've got some takeaways and some player ratings for the Boks. And that's what I'm going to do on this video. So if you appreciate the content on the channel, hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. It helps spread the word. It's just me. I'm a one-man band and I need your help to find new subscribers. And if you haven't already, please subscribe yourself. The three big takeaways for me. Firstly, the bomb squad activated and went off in a big way in this match. 11 points to 9 up at half time. KG opening half of the game. Horrible conditions. Not great execution. Exactly what that bomb squad was there. We talked about the, 7 double World Cup winners. 8 World Cup winners, 7 of them double World Cup winners on the bench. And they went and did what world-class players do and brought the power game in the second half, brought a little bit more composure, finished off the more scores. Australia added one more penalty, but the Boks got that bonus point victory in the end. Accuracy, not good. That is an area to improve upon. And we saw with New Zealand, they were able to actually deliver and execute in challenging conditions. South Africa, not so much. Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu, all he had to do was catch the ball to score. Same goes Makazole Mapimpi. Probably if he'd swapped arms and fended off, to be fair, what was a good covering tackle from Tom Wright, he would have scored. And there were other opportunities besides that. South Africa could realistically be disappointed that both last week and this week they didn't score 50 points. And the new blood, the 10 changes. We can talk at the end about whether that was too many changes in the one game and how you feel about that element of it now. There were some players that enhanced their reputation and some have still got question marks over their name. And that leads on to the player ratings themselves. This is just a gut feeling, sense of the game that I got, giving everyone a mark out of 10. And starting with Jan-Hendrik Wessels, who was kind of, yeah, fine. He's a really mobile unit. This was not the conditions for getting the very best out of what Jan-Hendrik Wessels can deliver for the Boks. On flat tracks, fast open ground, he could be absolutely dynamite. And I think when you look at the selection of the whole team, that was the intention. But with the rain, and to be fair, Alan Alatoa actually kept him under wraps for the most part before, he went off and then there were no actual scrums due to uncontested scrums. So yeah, 6 is kind of where he's at. Johan Grobler did some good things. Dodgy arrows. And I was sort of thinking as I watched this, if Joseph Dweber had been throwing in the line out some of those darts that Johan Grobler was chucking in, he'd have been getting a lot of stick. Really like him as a player. He is so explosive. Set piece fundamentals, work to do, but the conditions were bad. Thomas du Toit, I actually thought he enhanced his reputation a little bit, did a lot of work around the park, wasn't able to kind of show what he was about overall because of the conditions and stuff. Again, another very mobile prop forward. You just wanted him to do those solid fundamentals. He kind of did without dominating at scrum time. He was effective, I felt, pretty much. So 7 out of 10. Salman Murat went off quite early, so didn't really get a chance to show what he was about before Eben Etzebeth came on. And without Murat, it's actually Ruan Nortje, who I think is the lock that kind of got himself about. He was very, very busy. A couple of errors, one penalty given away, I seem to remember, but I think on the whole, I just always would see him popping up. His engine was massive, and I haven't seen the stats, but it seemed to me from where I sat like he put in a big work rate, which is why I've given him a 7.5. Marco van Staden got the try, but did not dominate that breakdown and contact area to the degree that you might have wanted him to up against the Australian back row. Peter Steph du Toit did, and his transition to a winger is happening slowly but surely in front of our eyes. I love watching this guy marauding in between the tram lines out wide. He's absolutely awesome. And again, that was one of the ones, wasn't it? He made the break down got himself offload Jesse Creel, catch the ball and put the ball down and score. Didn't manage to, but Peter Steph du Toit once again, very good. Elric Lowe, mixed. I mean, he knocked on that first kickoff and again, not quite dominating the gain line like Dwayne Vermeulen does. And that number 8 position for South Africa is that there's so many good contenders. Who is going to make it their jersey? You've got Cam Hanekom, hasn't really had a proper shot yet because of injury. Evan Ruiz had a shot, then was dropped, but now we know he's getting some surgery done on his shoulder. So hopefully he'll be right and fit and firing. It's hard to know who's going to come out and emerge in that number 8 jersey. I think all we've established so far is that there isn't anyone in that shirt that is anywhere near Dwayne Vermeulen's level yet. And I don't know, do you tinker with the back row? So Ben Jason Dixon comes in. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. We can talk about that in the build-up to the New Zealand game, which, by the way, just to remind you, I'm coming out to South Africa, Johannesburg. I'll be there in Ellis Park and in Cape Town, taking the channel there. So another reason to hit subscribe if you haven't already, as we move into the Backline, where Morne van den Berg, I was excited to see him. I love watching the Lions, but when you watch the Lions play with the guys like Morne van den Berg and Nohamba and Kwan Horn as well, it's just so explosive, all pace, all action, and it wasn't the conditions, but that's what you need to do at international level. You need to be able to adapt and deliver, and Morne van den Berg didn't really do that in this game, did he? There were mistakes, there was a little bit of a lack of control, and that was shown in the fact that it was a very close game at half-time, albeit, and this is what you have to keep coming back to, as I mentioned, those kind of takeaways, the accuracy was poor. Makazole Mapimpi and Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu score those tries in the first half, and it feels like a very different game a lot earlier, and then you might get the confidence to go and express yourself, and Australia are suddenly chasing the game and can't do this tight kick-based game that they were trying. But anyway, there we go. Sasha, again, made a few errors. He is human, after all. I mean, a prodigious talent, but this, again, much like I said, had Dwebber been throwing some of those lineouts in that went wayward, people have been giving him a lot of stick. If Marnie Le Bock had been the guy that made some of the errors that Sasha FM made, my favourite radio station, then there probably would have been some comments aimed Marnie Le Bock's way. So you have to take the rough with the smooth. He's had an incredible start to his Springbok career, has taken to international rugby like a duck to water. He is a potentially generational talent, and that video that was going viral the other day of him as a 13-year-old giving a little end-of-year talk to all the parents and stuff shows that he's a special human being as well. But he is fallible and not his best day. Will he have the 10 jersey for New Zealand? The fact he's played both these games suggests that he probably will, but again, has that performance in difficult conditions made it a conversation again that we maybe weren't having a week ago about who wears 10 in those tests against New Zealand? It's going to be interesting to talk about, isn't it? As we move to the left wing, where Makazole Mapimpi should have scored that try. That said, I think there was a lot of upside in his defence. One thing about South African wingers, their defence has to be massive. It always is. And Mapimpi shut down Australia a couple of times. And we didn't really get to see the Mapimpi-Korobete rivalry reignite itself. But Mapimpi should have scored, but then did some really good work in the build-up to other tries, and particularly that nudge through for Fassi, and defensively was a rock. Because South Africa did not concede a try, let's not forget. Lekanyuam and Jesse Creel, giving them a 6.5 because, they're capable of more. The conditions didn't really allow it. They delivered when they had that opportunity for that Fassi try. Just kind of solid without being remarkable. And Cheslin Colby did some really special things, made an amazing break. Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu should have scored to cap what would have been a great break. Again, a little scrum hat wearing Power Ranger on the wing defensively, and I thought he was really good, as was Apaleli Fassi, who I've given a 7.5. Really safe back there under the high ball, absolute wheels. The guy is rapid for that try that he scored, and just kind of did a lot of the nuts and bolts well, which, bearing in mind the conditions, that I see as a big positive. And when you're looking at the newer faces and who's enhanced their reputation, you'd have to say it was, well, from my perspective, tell me if you disagree, it was Ruan Nochia, it was Thomas du Toit, and it was Apaleli Fassi. And the ones maybe who didn't take their opportunity this time, but I hope they get other chances, Morne van den Berg, Johan Grobelaar, Jan Hendrik Wessels to a degree, And Salman Murat didn't really get an opportunity, so I think there's still going to be question marks over his head as well. But there we go, full 5 points, comfortable win, and you've rotated your whole squad. Players are rested up, you've got confidence in some players, and there are selection conversations to have ahead of New Zealand. The final one then, the bomb squad, yeah, they did their bit. I might have even scored them lightly there. They might be worth a 9 out of 10. They might have actually, with the power that they brought in that second half. And actually, to be fair to Pollard and Libok, the control that they brought as well, game management, might be worth more than an 8 out of 10. Overall, South Africa probably worth, I don't know, what would you say? What would South Africa's overall rating be worth? 6.5, maybe 7? Yeah, 6.5 I'll go for. 6.5 overall. They'll get a lot better, but it was job done. A lot of changes made. Grant Williams was the other selection dilemma I was going to say. I think definitely got from him, and it doesn't matter whether he's coming on for Kobus Reinach, Faf de Klerk, Morne van den Berg, whoever he seems to come on for, he just adds a little bit of zip. And is the reason that he was leapfrogged by van den Berg because he is going to be the first choice 9? Or he's cemented that bench place. I don't quite know how that's going to go, but that's another conversation we can have in the build-up to New Zealand, where I will be coming to watch those games, Johannesburg and Cape Town. Hit subscribe on the channel if you want to make sure you follow all of the coverage from South Africa and in between. There's videos for all of the other teams coming as well soon, so keep an eye out for Australia, for Argentina, and for New Zealand. But I will see you on the next video.